I got something for y'all. Check this out. Here's a printout that I took from one of Ben's tweets. And Ben, I'm referring to here is Ben and David are the podcast hosts of this incredible show called Acquired. You should definitely check them out. It's called acquired.fm, and they're elite in terms of podcasting. If by any chance Ben or David are listening to this, hey. So I wanted to show this to kind of make a point about how long it takes to really kind of make it in podcasting, right? I think I have a podcast and I've been doing this for 2.5 years, and there's a lot of my peers who are in my sort of same range, and we underestimate often. I mean, we know now, but I'm just saying, like, the tendency is to underestimate what growth looks like for podcasts. And what blew my mind, I want to make 2 or 3 comments around this chart. And what blew my mind is it took them, first of all, 8 years to get to their peak, right? Their episode with NVIDIA just crossed, I think it was closer to 400,000 listens. And that's like, the peak right now. And it took them 8 years. Think about that. And my favorite part, the other observation that I have is there have been so many amazing episodes, through the years. It's not just NVIDIA was the best. It's just that it took way longer for the market to warm up to really pay attention to the podcast. My favorite part was it started in October 2015, right? Which is the first episode is Pixar. It's actually a great episode. I listened to it and I'm like blown away by how good it was. And so from a listener point of view, the difference between the first episode to the latest ones, I don't think there's a huge, dramatic, revolutionary level of improvement or difference, from the perception. So they were already good to begin with, but it took a long, long, long time for the market to kind of perceive them and acknowledge their greatness. The other thing, my favorite part is so they're close to 100K, like I said, right now, on the 8th year. So if you take 10% of that, right, roughly, it's about 40K. And so this is the 50K mark, which is what they crossed. This camera is messing it up, but which is what they crossed with the TikTok episode. But a few episodes before that were close to that 40K mark. And what blew my mind is that it took 4 years, and most of these happened in 2019. So it took 4 years to get to 10% of their eventual gradual, success in terms of readership or listenership. That is insane to just kind of sit on that thought for a second there. Like, it took 40 years of hard work, love, and interest and attention and energy, and you get 10% of your reward. That is the game. That is how this game is set up. And it's very, very important. That really humbled me and really made me realize that that's how you got to play the game. It's a decade game, and they're 8 years in, and I know that the next 2 3 years are going to be insanely powerful and amazing for them. But it kind of is like a compound interest, journey, right? So 4 years in, which is halfway in their 8 years, they only saw 10% of success. Wow, blows my mind. And the next half, they saw 90% of success. So the reward is very non-linear. It's not something that I think in school or any of these, like in university or any of, like, 9 to 5, like any of these other mechanisms we were part of, don't really prepare us for this, something like this. So that's something I thought, and kudos to the duo. I'm a huge, huge fan, and great respect for what they've achieved. And I know for the rest of, I guess the next few years is all about kind of compound growth, but massive respect for the first 40 years, just for sticking it around for the first 40 years when there was only 10% of what they finally achieved, which is amazing. So anyway, hope that inspires one other person. Definitely inspired me. Hope it inspires you as well in your podcasting journey.